Hello friends and welcome. I'm Sara Lihz and I have two fun projects for you today. We're going to get creative and stretch our dies to make the most out of them. I am in love with this zip gift tag die set, and so this is a tag I made in a different video, and I used only the supplies that are in the zip tag die set. And I want to show you how I put this together. I leave the bottom open so that later, when I know who it's for and what they're getting, I'll put the gift card in there and add glue only at the very bottom. And then you pull the zipper and you can pull the gift tag out, and most of the tag is still intact. Again, totally obsessed with this. So I just want to show you guys some exciting inspiration and some ways to make the most of it. So I'm starting with a piece of white cardstock and the cow print stencil, and I'm going to use some black pigment ink over the top to get a really black cow print over the top of it. And when I pull off that stencil, you can see it is amazing. I'm obsessed. I wanted to create a grassy hill at the bottom, but that zipper doesn't go through two pieces of cardstock really well. Like, it just doesn't function right. So I put the green cardstock on top of that cow print, and I cut the hill at the same time so they nest perfectly together, kind of like puzzle pieces. And then I'm laying them together on a shipping label. I got mine off of Amazon. They're fairly inexpensive, but you could also do this with packing tape, right? In another video, I used packing tape to inlay a bunch of the different pieces on this. There's lots of different options. You just want it really thin back there. So I've put my tag on top of my panel, and then here's the little zipper, and I'm taping it into place because sometimes it shifts on me while I'm running it through my die cutting machine. Then this is the Carton Companion stamp set. I love this thing. And I'm gonna stamp our little cow. I wasn't thinking ahead of time that I maybe wanted to add a little color to this. I would have used a different ink, or at least at first a different ink, because I am gonna color in her nose and udders and then part of her tail with some alcohol markers. To keep things from smearing, I just dotted them over the cow instead of using brush strokes. So this is the You're Utterly Moovelous die set, you guys. It's just a pun. That's it. The words are the die set. It's hilarious. And I ran them through with some ribbon stick sheet. It's double-sided adhesive sheet, and mine stayed in my die. So I just peeled off that backer paper with my pokey tool, and then I can lay the die with my little sticker letters right on top of the shadow layer, flip it over, and just press it with my finger, and it is amazing. You're Utterly Moovelous. I made two sets because I knew I was going to make two of these tags, and I am going to alternate the white text on black and the black text on white. And then I thought it needed another pop of color. So I have some fuchsia and light blue hearts that I cut using dies from the original die set, and I'll scatter those around. Then, after I've spent 10 years arranging those pieces, because I can't help myself, I'm going to grab my clear sticky mat and pick those up. I have the tag taped to a piece of white cardstock. So when I picked everything up, I put the sticky mat in the lower left-hand corner of my white cardstock, and then I'll do the same when I go to put everything down again. Some people use press and seal for this. I find that this is a little easier. It holds everything exactly in the right place. And once I put everything down, I give that glue a minute to dry. This is a newer piece of sticky mat, so mine's really sticky right now. Just let the glue dry a little bit, give it 2 minutes tops, and you're good to go. To create a pocket for our gift card, I'm adding glue all over the top and around the hole for the ribbon, and then just a very thin bead of glue on either side and none where the zipper is. And I will just add a second tag onto the back. When I'm pressing everything down and making sure it's glued together well, I try to push towards the outside so that I'm not pushing glue into the middle and then all of a sudden my pocket is smaller than I need it to be for my gift card. I grabbed a handful of ribbons from my stash. I think they've been there since the early 2000s, my friends. And I just put them all into one bundle, stuck them through the hole, arranged them so they're all going sort of flat. And then I'll tie another ribbon around the front and double knot it. I found a pair of reverse tweezers was really helpful in this process. And then when I go to trim off all of those ends, I like to cut them at an angle to help keep that ribbon from fraying. And I aim for a variety of lengths so it looks sort of random. If you still have ribbon in your stash, I want to know about it. Leave me a comment below. I have so much ribbon. All right, my friends, that finishes tag number 1. It really stretches the ability to layer up cardstock on that tag. For the second one, we are using a vanilla or cream colored tag, and I'm going to add a little bit of distress ink around the outside because we're making a pizza. We are going to do just a little bit of fussy cutting here. I have 2 pieces. The red one is 2 3/4 by 3 inches, and the cream is 2 3/8 by 2 3/4. And we're going to do some very easy, very forgiving fussy cutting. I am just going around each of these rectangles gently with my scissors and removing a slightly wonky strip. Okay, so I have sauce and then I have cheese. Last winter, I think in January, Trinity came out with the Every Pizza Me stamp set and coordinating die set. And you can use them with the circle shape card die to make a pizza. But I was like, we can make the tag a pizza. We can use all of these toppings and stretch them to get another look. So here's my stamp set, right? It's not very big. It means the price point is really great. And I'm just gonna put that in my mini Misty. I'm stamping this quickly just onto some scratch paper. I don't know why I did it this way, you guys, except that I had already die cut this piece and I was like, I will use it. So if your craft room is like mine, where nothing goes to waste, here's how you can use it. I lined up the negative so that the sentiment was perfectly centered in there. And then I'll just pop that die cut in there. And when I stamp onto it, I know it's going to be perfectly placed. I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink for this one because I know a lot of times it will pull up and kind of stick to the stamp, and I didn't want to have to do it twice. So I'm going to begin assembling my pizza. I'm adding some wet glue onto the back of my sauce, and then I'll do the same with my cheese. If I was going to make this again, I might do what I did on the first tag and create a black strip down at the bottom so that the pizza part itself was really more of a short rectangle. But this works too. I have a whole bunch of those pieces left over from the last time I made a pizza with this set, right? Nothing goes to waste. And I am just going to scatter my toppings. I have my sentiment on top there because I'm not going to add them where you're not going to see them. Like, there's no need for that. And then I'm grabbing my sticky mat again. I just put it in the bottom left-hand corner of my tag. And then these pieces are really small and they're overlapping. So a lot of them aren't making great contact with the sticky mat. So I find it easier to flip everything over and pull the tag off instead of trying to pull the sticky mat up and flip it without losing anything. I'll add my glue all over and the tag back down into that same corner, give it a minute to dry, and then I'll come back to it and gently peel everything up. The die set includes some olives and they're teeny tiny. So I backed those with some rip and stick sheet and I just turned them into stickers. This was so much easier than trying to add glue onto the backs of all of those and then worrying about whether or not the glue would show. So we're going to finish this tag, but when it's done, I'm going to change my mind and I'm going to show you that process too. Off camera, I added my sentiment on there with some foam, mostly because there's a ton of texture in the background, and that's just a single piece of cardstock with my sentiment. Then I grabbed a whole bunch of ribbon in different colors and textures. We've got polka dots and some glitter and just fun different things. I like a variety of textures in there. And I'll tie those off with some twine on this one. I didn't even make a dent in my stash, you guys, like not even a little bit. I made 4 tags. I'll use my reverse tweezers to help me get that knot, and then I'll cut the ends kind of short and I'll add a dot of glue onto that knot to finish everything off. So here it is in version 1, and actually it's all right, but I'm looking at it and you can see like my hands are like, oh man, am I gonna tear this apart? I used my heat tool to loosen up the adhesive on the back of our original sentiment. And then I very carefully peeled it off of the tag. I wanted this to stand out a little bit more, to be a little more substantial. So I have just cut that same shadow twice more, once from black and once from red. And I'm just gonna offset it to the top left and the bottom right. And then that makes it a lot weightier too, right? I don't need foam tape anymore. It was really just there to even everything out because of all the toppings. Once that's secure, this tag is really, really complete, like really complete. Like I'm not gonna do it again. So I'm going to give you one more close-up look of the 2 tags that we made in today's video, but I'm also going to show you my original 2 tags. I love how versatile this die set is. I hope you'll use these techniques to layer cardstock with that zipper element and to get more use out of the dies you already have, including those pizza toppings, a personal favorite, and the ice cream cone. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I will see you next time.